Checkity check.
You guys ready?
Yeah.
All right, I think we're rolling. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Sixth Off Axis Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Sixth Off Axis podcast. I'm here joined with Itzel and Dave Locke.
Hi.
Hello.
We're here in the middle of the coronavirus apparatus, whatever the hell is going on here. Apparently, everything's being locked down in California. And in California, they're under full quarantine where they can't leave their house. We're in Vegas.
I just heard about it, and someone said that it's going to come for Vegas soon.
It seems like we're like 2 days behind California. It seems like whatever happens to them happens to us like 2 days later.
Yeah, I also heard like we're 2 weeks away from Italy. Whatever's happening in Italy, we're 2 weeks away from that.
Yeah, whatever happened to there, I guess they didn't like do any kind of quarantine stuff, and they just let it get out of control.
Mm-hmm.
Woo!
So yeah, hopefully we don't get there. In Mexico, they're talking about there being this situation because they're trying to make the quarantine, but people is really mad because they're like, we are a third world country, we can't do that, like they're not getting it, that like it's being the same for everybody. They think that we're here like getting paid for by the government or something and surviving that way, and it's like, no, we can't do that, and they don't get it. Like it's a world situation that we all have to take responsibility and act as a one world that we are.
Yeah, I feel like in Mexico they have a different kind of like mentality of like they just drink more, like
they
put
don't
it
take
away.
it serious.
Like, they don't take it seriously.
But this is the thing, is like, I think when America was at 100 cases, we weren't taking this seriously.
Exactly.
I was not.
I know,
for sure.
and that's the thing, is they have
not either.
118 cases. They had like 93 the other day, but for the most part, like if you look at them.
Yeah,
like,
Mexico is pretty clean still, so they don't think this is a real thing. It's
Yeah.
surreal.
If I was in Mexico, I would close the border on the U.S. because the U.S. has 13 times the amount of cases.
But they won't, because we survive by tourism. We can, if we close, it's just, I don't know, the economy. But I mean, the economic crisis is gonna be reflected in the whole world anyway.
130 times. U.S. has 130 times more cases than them.
What's the population of Mexico? Is it like comparable to the United States?
I think
I think it's pretty comparable.
Yeah, I want to say it's probably close to what, 200?
I don't even know, to be honest.
200 million?
I know like Mexico City has 10 million and Guadalajara has 6 million people, and that's just 2 cities.
So we got
so
126 million.
there you go.
It's a third of the U.S.
Oh, it's a third?
Yeah, because U.S. is 330 million.
Oh,
So a third,
Wow.
that's pretty close.
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, that's actually like pretty close compared to like what I thought it was. I thought it was going to be way less. Apparently that's,
No, Mexico's a huge country as well.
yeah, that's pretty insane.
Canada's closed off now.
Ooh, I wonder how like places like Africa are doing, because they probably aren't even like acknowledging this at all.
Yeah,
Or,
well, I think the coronavirus wasn't attacking too much the hot places
Or cold.
or too cold, like Russia. Also, there's not so many cases there. So that's why Mexico is still safe. But I've also heard that the virus is mutating, is changing, and is adapting. And it's probably not going to be a problem to survive on the heat anymore, which was something that we were like, okay, Mexico is going to be okay because it's hot enough.
Yeah.
But now we can't be sure about that.
Have you seen that?
Ooh.
I've been following this since one of the news publications told me to follow it, and it's Bing. So this is Microsoft's live tracker.
Yeah.
And then from there, once you hit global status, it tells you like all the countries that have it based on how many they have, how many cases.
Oh man.
And so the U.S. is at 14,000. We were at 13,000 this morning.
Oh my God, I
Oh.
know it's going insane.
And so, yeah, we've now surpassed France. And France is on a stricter lockdown than we are.
Didn't you say that we got like in the United States like 7,000 cases in one day?
I swear I checked it, and it was like 2,500. And then the next day I checked it, and it was 9,500.
And we're in 13 now,
Oh
right?
my God.
Yeah, it's very serious. Something that people don't get in Mexico. They're not.
Oh.
It's not tangible for them yet. So yeah,
Yeah,
even
I was in Australia not that long ago, and they are very much like 2-3 days behind the U.S. So all the restrictions that the U.S. made, basically, I watched Australia make those like now.
Yeah. So for those listening, Dave just got sent to a Cirque du Soleil show called Curios in Australia. I want to say probably like a week and a half ago. And this whole thing like kicked in about a week ago, and Dave's here.
Yeah, it was March.
Oh,
March
he made
8th.
it home.
Yeah, March 8th
Thanks,
is
God.
when I left, and now Australia sealed off their borders and says all non-residents
That's so
they're not
crazy.
going to let them in.
Yeah.
But I don't know what that means for my friends that stayed in Australia. Like, I don't know if the Australian government
Are
is
gonna
coming
send them
close to cracking down on who's in the country as a non-resident and saying, okay, maybe you have to go home. I don't know.
Yeah, because they were all Cirque du Soleil employees, right?
A lot of them, yeah.
And
They can stay, but they will stay in quarantine, so they have the choice to stay or not. Because I have some family who was traveling Australia right now, and they got stuck, and they're like, okay, you can stay, but you will have to do the quarantine first, or you can just go back. And they decide all to go back, and now they're coming to the U.S. And I really don't know how is that gonna be, but they do give you the possibility of leave or stay, whatever you want. But if you stay, you have to stay in quarantine for sure.
Yeah. But I wonder, are hotels even like up and running anymore? Because didn't the hotels in all of Vegas, didn't they all shut down and
yeah,
kick
they're all
everybody out?
closed. They're all closed.
So it's like, where do people stay when they're stuck in Vegas, or if they're stuck in other places and like the hotels are closed?
Yeah,
So-
I think the MGM resorts are still open, but I believe all of, like the Wynn resorts closed and they barricaded them, so there's like no chance of anyone getting in. I don't know, because like I feel like the last week they've been trying to get everyone out of Vegas that wasn't supposed to be here.
Which is interesting because I heard like people talking about it, like it doesn't matter if your virus is there. It doesn't really matter to close borders at that point because like unless you just don't have any cases in your place,
Yeah.
then it would make sense.
Well, Mexico is not closing the border to United States, which is crazy, don't you think? Like,
Yeah.
they have no cases there. There's so many cases here, and they're still like, yeah, no, God will protect us. That's exactly what the president said today. It was like, man, do you have a plan? He's like, yeah, God will protect us. That's it.
Oh, we didn't have a plan. Like when people asked us like a week ago, 10 days ago, if we had a plan, we didn't really have a plan either.
No one had a plan.
Yeah.
I think we're pretty close to having like the National Guard come in, setting up giant hospitals, and then it's a question of like they were saying that healthy people shouldn't get tested because then you're just going to put yourself at more risk. Like if you show up to a place to get tested that's full of coronavirus.
Yeah. Yeah, I just showed up to mail shoes the other day at USPS, and it was a shit show. Everyone was coughing everywhere. I'm just like, this is how I die, is trying to
Oh my
mail
God.
shoes.
That's so scary.
So I just drove by the dispensary and that was closed.
Oh.
Like, and I don't know, it should be open at this point, and like they were open the other day as an essential service. So when I saw it, there was like a sign on the door, and I'm pretty sure it would have said like we're sold out, or something like that. Like,
Well, which is, it's crazy that it's an essential service now, and when like 2 years ago it was illegal, right?
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
amazing.
Now it's essential.
It's essential.
could you imagine though, like if they
Yeah,
closed,
but
if they
it is.
closed the dispensaries on Nevada, and like
In this time when
at this time, like people would fucking freak out.
freak out, yeah.
And maybe they are closed. I don't know. I just drove by it and I was like,
I hope they're not.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. It's funny because we went by the gun store yesterday because my brother wanted to buy a gun. And all of the places, they all had big signs that said open still.
yeah.
Open
Right on
still,
the front,
exactly.
yeah.
Like,
Because everyone's trying to buy guns and stuff right now.
Ammo. Yeah, I
Mm.
heard ammo.
Ammo. Everything was sold out. There's nothing there at all.
yeah, like in grocery stores, same thing. You
Yeah.
go and there's nothing. That's ridiculous. It really feels like the apocalypse. It's like I never thought this was gonna happen ever. And I'm like going through all the halls and everything's empty. There's no products. There's nothing. Like everybody freaked out, buy everything, left home. Now I'm like, where are we going? Like what's happening now? Like
Yeah.
Nobody knows, and everyone's answer is like, we don't know. But I love watching the comedian Tim Dillon, who Joe Rogan told me to listen to, and he was like, well, you know what, we're gonna get through this. We're gonna sit on our fucking asses, and we're just gonna eat our way like through this thing. We're gonna get through it. Like, we're so good at this.
Sit down, watch Netflix, eat snacks. No, that's terrible. I think, let me tell you what I really think this is happening for, because everything happened for a reason, right? And the world needed to stop. I think nothing out of us. We're always fighting against each other, right, in the world. And I always thought it was going to be the aliens who were going to come and take us out of this stupid dynamic where we don't get that we are part of the same world. We are one.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the aliens. It was coronavirus, but still, it made us all stop. This never happened in our era. Mm-hmm. So it was necessary, and so I really think it's positive. It can be a really positive thing if we all stay really home, take it serious, get introspective, time to reflection, to plan, to rest is so important, because we don't stop. Like, the world is so hard to live these days, and you want to keep up. You never rest.
Yeah.
So this is a chance for the whole world to stop, look at inside, look at themselves, reflection, take a little step back and plan and reset, and also realize, like, what's happening. Like, we are part of the same world, and we're all in the same boat. And it doesn't matter if they sing first in China, like, they might sing first because it all started, but it's gonna spread everywhere. So we have to do this together. And if the now is to stay home, let's stay home. That's it, I think.
Yeah. Everyone would go on vacation, like, chill.
Well, it's interesting because, like she said, there have been a lot of reports now of like the canals in Venice. All of a sudden, you can see into them now, and like Shanghai is reporting like record low pollution. But is the system even set up for us to take a rest? Is the question.
Yeah.
Is that the thing? It's like, I think it's going to collapse. But the environment is like undoing years of pollution in the matter of like months, which is pretty wild too, to watch that.
Yeah.
I think the struggle also, it's going to make a lot of people wake up, like get more conscious about really what's happening. Struggle, it always makes, at the end of every struggle, you go stronger, you go wiser. So this is a world struggle. So I really hope, and I think that we're all going to go more awakened, and it's going to be a step up for the whole world, hopefully.
Hopefully. I mean, I hope this is kind of like a world epidemic where everyone is kind of coming together. Mm-hmm. And
we should. It's an opportunity, right?
It should be good for everyone to finally like come together, rather than like tear each other down,
Exactly, absolutely. I think it's an opportunity. We could see it like that.
Like she said, though, like the earth has been going too hard, too fast. And you look at countries and they're worried about their birth rate, and they're worried about like their growth. And you look at a lot of companies and they just want to grow and get bigger and grow. They have that very capitalist mindset that has creeped into almost everything that we do. And then we forget that like about our social services and how important they are in this moment.
Yeah.
And that you can't have capitalism infiltrate every, facet of everything, because it just turns people looking out for themselves.
Yeah.
And then you lose that collective, you lose this ability to take care of everyone.
Yeah. What he's trying to say, like, we should stop focusing in getting the money and focusing in creating value for other people. Yeah. And then that will create wealth for everyone. Cheers.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers to the apocalypse.
Please no.
This is like essentially like a 21st century apocalypse, though.
Like, so
crazy. I mean, this is some wartime protocols being pulled out. I asked my grandma today, I was like, have you ever...
Her grandma is 91, by the way.
Yeah, and I was like, have you ever, like, seen any of these protocols enacted, like, in your time? But, yeah, I don't know. She hasn't responded to me yet, but hopefully she'll have some crazy story from me.
No, everybody says, nobody that I know, like your parents, my parents, they've never seen a stop like this ever. Like, this has never happened in the world. I can't believe some people is not taking this serious. Like,
yeah,
the world has never seen this.
Yeah, it's kind of like what everyone's been preparing for, like for a really long time, like the apocalypse, like it's coming, like everyone's getting ready, getting their canned foods, getting their guns, and getting everything ready just in case apocalypse happens and zombies come. But this is like real life.
Did you see that?
Did
you see that boat that they pulled into New York this morning?
No, I did not.
They fucking pulled in this like warship from the 1918, and it's a floating hospital with 1,000 beds, and they're planning on pulling up a few more to New York's harbor, and that's New York's response, is that they weren't gonna really shut down, but they were gonna have this thing available. And you could just walk onto it. And it's so crazy, dude. Like, everything is being superseded. Like, you don't need insurance in this day and age. You can literally walk in homeless as fuck, no identification, no birth certificate, and get treatment. Because, like, for the first time, they're starting to treat people like human beings. Because if they don't, then that person's just going to spread the virus.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter.
Then
It's like
everybody's in
if
danger.
you're breathing and you're conscious and you can, like, tell them what's going on, they're going to treat you.
Yeah.
It should be like that always. Like, I can't believe this had to happen for things to go that way, because are you kidding me? It should be like that.
Yeah, it really should. And I feel like it's eventually going to move in that direction to where we're going to start covering everyone under any circumstances, kind of like how Canada does.
Yeah.
But
And this is helping that
because
to happen.
the first I heard of it was in China. And it's like, because people that are born outside of that one-child rule, they don't have any type of identification. And, like, because their parents had them illegally, they're not recognized. And that was, like, a huge problem. Like, they're basically living they're living off the
Identity
grid.
without
Yeah, they're
identity.
living off the grid within the grid. But having troubles, getting jobs, getting any type of identification. Because their government doesn't want to recognize them.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with homeless people. Like, it's pretty crazy.
Shit is getting crazy.
I know.
So, on a different note, Itzel, are you out of any shows because of this coronavirus? For everyone listening, Itzel does
NBA.
like NBA shows.
NBA.
It's just like,
NBA was the first one to
so
go down, the first
crazy.
sport to go down.
There was a
Yeah.
And really, I think it comes down to, like, whether someone in your organization has the virus. And
that
like,
was the problem. That somewhat, like a player of the Utah Jazz got the virus. So all the team was in quarantine, and all the team that they play with last was in quarantine, and they decided to close everything. It's so crazy because I literally had a rehearsal the day before. And then I had one day rest before the show I had to do. And then that day they decide everything is closed, it's not happening. And we're not getting anything, It's not like I had my rehearsal and everything. I saved the date, and it's not like I'm getting paid anything, even though this is a huge corporation with lots of money, like.
What's his name? Mark Cuban. He owns a NBA team, and he said he was going to pay everyone in his organization.
That's
so it's coming
awesome.
down. It's coming down to the individual billionaires who own their companies
But
to say that, okay, I'm gonna help.
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, the artistic world is shut down.
Yeah.
I think we're one of the most affected fields.
I've lost 4 out of the last 5 shows that I've booked, and they were all in April or May, and all of them have canceled.
Yeah, me too. I had the Trailblazers, I had the Grizzlies, I had some more NBA, and all shut.
Yeah, I heard that they were talking about the pandemic lasting 18 months because they're counting to see how it reacts next season around this time. Because they're saying, like, seasonally, like, maybe we'll get rid of it, but then it's going to come back.
It's actually, they're talking about 2 years. Like, this is going to take, like, kind of 2 years to settle, if it does. I mean, I don't know where this is going to end. But this is not going to get fixed in 2-3 months. Or they say stay home 2 weeks and we might get stabilized. Yeah, but they're also talking about this might have consequences for 2 years. And I just can't imagine. I just can't imagine.
Just makes me think that on the back end they're covering up for something.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
This
that's the other thing that they're saying. Like, this could be a whole
because
a small curtain, they say, right? Like, it's covering
yes.
shit, and it's usually things like this happen. They say when it's gonna be the U.S. Elections for president, usually something is going around, and some people is saying that, you know, like a lot of people out is like, this is Trump's fault. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, this started in China. What are you talking about? But
Yeah.
but I mean, you never know. I don't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Joe Biden becomes the next president.
Oh my God.
All over this whole thing.
I wouldn't be surprised if Joe Biden
I
came
think
down
this
with
is-
coronavirus, and that's how they
That's how
pushed Trump's
Trump to
new,
stay. Yeah.
That's how they pushed Trump's new election. Is that
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Trump's staying. He looks very confident about it, and I don't know. I think he's staying. I really
Yeah.
think he's staying.
That's true. I think if Trump gives
It
people
sucks,
money,
though.
and I think if Trump legalizes marijuana nationwide, he's going to guarantee his presidency.
Well, he's kind of trying to do little
think so,
moves
too.
that I think he's definitely trying to do little moves that makes him look like the cool guy. Like, but I mean,
I think his response
what
to
am I trying to
this,
say?
if the world gets through this and he comes out in a good light, he's going to be reelected. It's going to be hard.
He's absolutely gonna do anything that it takes to go in a good light and get elected and be like, he's gonna be the hero of this story, I'm sure. But it's just gonna be a trick. Like, I just wanna say right now that I haven't seen my kids for 2 years, thanks to this fucking government. How it is like 2 years that I haven't been able to see my kids. So he can come with whatever game of like, I'm the hero and everybody's gonna love him or whatever. Bullshit. This is just tricks, and he's just wants to stay in power.
Yeah.
He's an asshole.
Like a week ago, he said, "Oh, this whole thing was a hoax," and now all of a sudden, I feel like the people in charge of him were like, "Hey, you should probably say something right now if you want any chance of getting reelected."
Well, did you see his his address?
I did. I watched the whole thing.
And you watched the bloopers on the beginning and the end?
Oh no, I didn't watch those.
Yeah, so there's like extra footage of him like before it and being like, should I have this book in front of me? And they were like, I don't know. And he's like, pushes it away, and then he like grabs it again. And he's like, and then at the end,
And then
he
he's like-
undoes his belt and he goes, okay. Like he was like, what the fuck? Like it's really funny to watch.
Where can I see this at?
So I watched it on.
You have to see the end.
I
That's-
watched
YouTube?
it on.
Honestly, the end was more like, I don't give a fuck. I'm done with this. Whatever.
I watched
that was
I
the
watched it
feeling
on
I
a few
got.
things. I watched it on like John Oliver. I watched it on like Colbert or something like that. I was watching it on like comedians were covering it, and they were making fun of it and being like, "Ooh, this is bad. We're in a bad
Yeah.
situation." But I mean, other than that, I think he did his. Yeah, I think in terms of like professionalism, he has stepped it up in terms of like who is overseeing him and being like.
I'm pretty sure
Like,
he's
you have
gonna
to
come
take
out
it-
like the
you have to
hero of
take
the
it
whole
more
story.
Seriously, he's not being such a dick on the, like
Yeah,
on TV anymore.
Because there's a lot of people that take this really
But-
seriously.
Yeah, but it was
Exactly.
really funny to
And it's
watch him
decisive
during the debates.
decisive times for
because
him.
He is such a child, but it's really funny.
He's
Yeah.
such a child.
But he
He's
gets
like
under.
a
He can
child.
get under people's skin, and in that atmosphere, it worked, and it was just hilarious that is what it came down to.
But you were saying something about the Trump thing.
I don't know what this is.
When was this from?
Okay,
Bears,
I don't know.
foreign bears.
I ignore this.
Oh my god.
This is the only thing that
It's
popped
so
up.
racist.
Yeah.
All right, what were you just saying?
You were saying something, but
No, we were talking about Trump's press conference, and then there was like little clips before and after, apparently, where the cameras were still rolling. He didn't know it, and it was just like it was kind of embarrassing. And I was like, oh man, this is, and it's funny because like you look at all these TV productions. Like I watched John Oliver, his studio was in quarantine, and so he had to do it without the normal stuff. And then like I watched another one, Colbert, and he had no studio audience, just his writers were in the audience, and
they're improvising
and they
the
was
whole
basically
thing.
it was a rehearsal, and he kept joking like, you guys are gonna play this rehearsal as the fucking tape. And then it was. And he was like, he was checking out, dude. He was like, I don't know why. He kept saying, he's like, I don't know why I'm even fucking doing this right now. Like he was like ready to leave. He was ready to leave it at any moment.
I can't believe this is happening.
I can see that though. Like
so
he's kind
crazy.
of being forced to do that shit that he doesn't want to do.
And you're sacrificing a lot of artistic things that your show normally has. Like,
I don't think
with shows like that, they show you clips, they do stuff. And there's a lot of like.
I don't think he's really being forced. I think he just wants to stay in power. He's gonna do whatever it takes. He's gonna like, okay, do I have to play the good guy right now? Okay, I'm gonna play the good guy. Ugh, this guy.
But I
and
know,
he's gonna get it. But you were saying, what if Joe Biden is gonna be elected? This is gonna. I mean, what will be the more ridiculous if Trump stays in power or if Joe Biden gets elected? Like,
yeah, I was saying that the other day. It's like
where'd the balance go?
I have the choice of vote for a Twitter troll or a guy with dementia.
Exactly.
Like, what the fuck is going on here?
In the world? Yeah. Because we have the same situation in Mexico. Like our last president and I just told you what the president says about this. It's like, it's clowns. We're getting us, like people directing us, guiding us are fucking clowns, and we can do nothing about it. They're laughing in our face, and we're cross arms because the only thing that we could do is like, what, war? Nobody wants to do war. We want peace. So nobody stands up and be like, you're gonna fucking stop laughing in my face. Because nobody wants war. But then if we don't do that, they're going to keep laughing in our faces. Yeah. Like they're doing. So what's the steps to go? I really don't know. Because I'm totally against violence. But, man, like it's the only way that in the past has stuck. Yeah. This is how we've gotten free in every way, is like just standing up by ourselves and say, like, this is it. This is it. Yeah. Are we going to do this? I don't think so. I think these times we're like pushing for the peace, for the love, but what's changing?
Well, I heard this interesting comedian the other night. I don't know if you've watched him, Mark Maron, and he's on Netflix. And he was talking about how if there's 300 million Americans, like documented, 1/3 of those are evangelical, like Catholic Christians. Yeah. And they have positioned themselves into places of government. And they're not very vocal about their beliefs. They keep them very much like on the low down because they only share it with their own community of other evangelical Christian Catholics.
But why would they do that if supposedly they're supposed to spread the world?
Because they have a message of God's army. And the people that want to be saved get absorbed into their congregation. But if you don't want to be saved, the whole thing is to make the end of the world happen sooner. Yeah. So that the second coming of Jesus can come. So like when it comes to the apocalypse, they're all for it because they want to speed it up to get to this new world that they think is coming. And when 1/3 of the United States identifies as this religion, but they're keeping it quiet, it's very much like it's a power move, and it's a really like gangster power move for sure. But it's really interesting to hear him tell. I didn't know that they had numbers like that. I didn't realize that it was at 100 million.
That's crazy. Mm-hmm.
And you figure there's another 50 to 100 million people probably hanging out in the U.S. that aren't documented too. Yep. So we have them too. Those are.
That's so crazy because this army of God that you're talking about, their work supposed to be to add more people to that army. So why would they hide it?
They want to add people that believe their message. If the people don't believe their message, then their attitude is that they're gonna just be food for the rapture. It's all about the rapture. Mm-hmm. It's all about this end of days, and then Jesus picking up the people that he likes into the sky and saving them. And then when the world settles, they get put back onto earth, maybe. I don't know. Or they go up into heaven.
Yeah, it's more like they get illuminated, like Jesus became light and just went to the sky. That's what's supposed to happen. Oh.
Ay.
Yeah.
Ay. Crazy evangelicals.
Yeah.
These people are crazy.
Yeah, what to believe.
I watched one of Trump's addresses the other day, and like the first 30 minutes of it was just people like blessing Donald Trump of how
what
religious he was, and I'm like, what the hell is going on?
Where is
Yes.
I'm like, Jesus.
That's propaganda 101.
Please show
right
me
there.
that. I can't believe this. This is not true.
It would take so long
No
to show
way.
you. No, it's like a 20-minute process of people just blessing Trump, and it's like,
what are you
what?
talking about? Like, he hates life. Like, he's against life. Like, who will
Yeah.
bless Trump? Like, he's
Are you
against
kidding me?
everything
There's at least a third of the people
represents
in the United
peace and
There's
love.
at least a third of the people in the United States
Equality.
that will like film themselves on their cell phone and send it to him.
Oh my God.
All he has to do is ask.
Well,
I believe that
yeah.
100%.
100%. There's at least a third of the country that he can call on to get inspirational messages from.
Dude, a lot of people are so behind Trump, too.
That's big word.
I mean,
Space Force sounds awesome to me.
dude. Yeah, honestly, I'm not going to lie. When Trump was running, I was like, hell yeah, let's break the system up, shake it up a bit, get some of these old people out of there, because, like, it needs a little, like, shaking, you know? Like, dude, it's getting so bad. Like,
it wasn't a good shake.
I think that Trump is just a magnifying glass for how bad the situation was already.
Yeah.
So if you already have these evangelical Catholics taking over, and you already have money as like the main driving factor behind American politics, Trump just came in and used it all against them to get a leg up. And like, what really is more American than that? It's just like, if you look at America, what it is now, of like a cosmic joke of what it used to be, you know, like what the media has become, and you know what we take as news now, it's pretty hilarious. And then you go back and you watch one of JFK's speeches, watch news delivered in the 60s by Walter Cronkite, and just see how much like information they're giving you, but also calling on you as an educated citizen to make a good decision as well.
Yeah.
And that's just not how it is now. Now they want to spoon feed it to you. Now they want to give you your fucking news like so biased to the point where you have to look at the news that they're giving you to, reverse it in your mind, and then you get a closer idea of what is actually what message is trying to get through.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is so sad because we should be moving forward, not the other way around.
But this is the time where you turn to comedians, you turn to graffiti artists, you turn to these taboo artists that are going to give it to you straight. And they're going to give you a closer idea of what the real social commentary is on the issues.
Yeah.
That's true. For sure.
Like for a long time, that was Jon Stewart. And then he got, I don't know, taken off the air or something, but for the longest time.
Yeah, fortunately, like, you can get your media from different sources nowadays rather than just from the people who have television shows.
Yeah.
So at least
now we're
more diversified.
Exactly.
But that's the danger, is now anything like that you label as fake news, like that started with like Pizzagate, but like you label something as fake news and all of a sudden like you can turn a trend against it.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, and you look at what the mainstream media is pushing as their message, and you're like, okay, that's probably what the CIA wants me to like also believe.
Yeah.
And so you're like, so if I go the opposite way and explore other ways, like maybe I'm on the search for the truth.
Yeah, but this is why it's so important to not just see one fountain of information and really look and make your own also.
For sure.
I mean, we have brains, right?
Think so.
I think all the chemtrails in the sky have made us just so dumb.
Yeah, chemtrails.
Seems like everything's starting to shake up a bit, though, for the better, or either for the worst. I don't know.
It is gonna be. I really hope it's. You don't know yet,
but
you
we've
just
just given up all of our freedoms. Like we have, literally, like it's in disguise mode right now. But as soon as the tanks roll in, like I know they're gonna say National Guard first, because National Guard, everyone's like, well, they're here to help and they're volunteers, like it's cool, and but then it's gonna get pretty military. And then you're going to be like, whoa, shit, now we're at full Red Dawn situation?
Yeah.
Have you seen Red Dawn?
No.
Red Dawn was a movie in the 80s with Patrick Swayze. And, like, literally, like, a foreign force, like, invades their town. And the army shows up. And, like, these kids are on the run.
Yeah.
And, it's, like, full-on martial law. And their parents are in, like, cages, and like they're having to talk to them through the fence, but they're like, they're still like out and about, like in the town, like hiding in the woods. It's pretty serious.
Crazy. We really don't know where we're going. You just say that you thought like when Trump was gonna come in power, something was gonna be shaken and change, and this like it wasn't the best, but probably this is because it's shaking the world. Like I think it's finally something that can make us come together as a world.
Yeah.
And we have never had this opportunity. I think it could be a good thing for sure.
But maybe they've been like, you know, when they talk about automation and they're
Yep.
talking about putting us all out of jobs.
Yeah.
Maybe they just pushed it
Oh,
as
yeah,
far as they
that is
could have,
true.
and then they were like, "Oh shit! Now we need something to like really stop it."
Yeah.
And like they hide it as a virus.
You mean for people, for machines to start taking the jobs of people?
Yeah, and they've pushed it this far, and like and the machines are ready to take over. And this is what it took for the human race to be like, no, you know, this is our introduction to not working, and then all of a sudden, like the machines are gonna come in and help us because we can't work because of the virus, and then they're gonna be like, and this is how it is now. Like now we live in the future, and now the machines are all here. They all replace your jobs. And I don't know.
But what is going to happen?
and then,
Yeah,
and
like where this is going, like how long is this gonna like happen that we don't have jobs and that we can work like we're all okay now because obviously we're just starting, so we have food, we have like it's all good.
But this is a test. This is a test. Are we? How sheepish are we? Like how sheeps are we?
We're very sheepish.
And we're very sheepish right now. Like we are just waiting. Like no one knows what to do. We're all waiting to be told what to do, and we're total sheeps.
But I mean,
We are very sheepish right now. That's why I'm trying to like
you're right.
and because they
What
said
if
we
nothing
can't
is
work.
real? What if nothing is real and the whole world stop and is freaking out and we have no jobs and we have the economy is crashing down?
What if we
and
all
people
wake
is,
up?
And what if it's all a fucking lie
Yeah. What
to
if we
hide
all wake
something
up in
else?
our Matrix pods right at this moment? You know, and like,
Please.
and we all like, oh shit, what are we gonna do now?
Yeah, everything has gone to shit. There's no jobs. There's no.
That's
Everyone
insane.
in the world is
Everyone.
on break right now.
Thank you for saying that, because I hate a lot of people in Mexico saying like, oh, you know, like if everybody else was in advantage and they're fucked so they cannot stop. I'm like, no, man, we are all fucked, the whole world.
I always wonder that, like, how sheepish is the military to where, like, if they're under guidance by the U.S. government, are they like? If they receive some orders that are completely
they're the
screwed up,
sheepest. Come on.
I'm pretty impressed that the military has been pretty quiet and no one's fighting as much as you would think. So kudos to like people for calming their military tempers, I guess.
yeah, I wonder, like, if they were told to go against like what they really believed in, would they start following
They would.
it?
They would. I'm pretty sure they would. I think they're the most brainwashed.
I like to hope that they're not, but
I don't.
I don't know if I believe that or not, because some like
I think this is one of the most brainwashed
If I
people,
was in
to
the
be
military
honest.
right now, I'd want to go home to my family.
oh yeah,
Like more than anything, like to be like, okay, you know what, you guys don't have a plan for military. Can we all go home for a little bit?
yeah.
And then when you guys have a plan, you need us, like call us back. Like that's what every other people are doing now, I guess. Like civilians, but
Kind of.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I really think that military, they're most brainwashed. Like their brain is to believe like they're going for whatever they're told to. Like this is this is what they do.
It's gonna be interesting because you got to look at which governments.
Because
like,
who chose to go to war in first place?
well,
You know what I mean?
You got to look at which police forces all around the world are sometimes what they call paramilitary, and sometimes it's like full-on military, depending on how your government is kind of set up. And like, so you got to look at how these countries are going about their protocols.
Yep.
Because I'm sure it's already the case in some countries where the tanks are rolling in.
Yeah.
And they are setting up those giant hospitals and stuff. And yeah, that's pretty wild. And I'm sure there's curfews being enacted, you know, and I'm sure that they're like, if you're out on the street and you don't like, and they're going to question you about like why you're out on the street.
Oh my God, that was so surreal.
What do you guys think that we could do? Like, what do you think is the most beneficial thing that we could do as human beings being quarantined.
Yeah, I think we should. Yeah, I honestly think we should stay home. Like if it's real, if it doesn't, it helps. I think it's a positive thing that the world stop, even if it's a lie. You know, if it's a lie, it's great for the whole world to realize. Just come on, we are on the same boat. That's it. So the way to go will be to stay home, reflect, plan, be your best self in your space with your people, work on your own health and fitness, work on your own, like plan what you really want to do in this world, how you gonna want to impact this world, how you want to help, how you're gonna create value, and just take this time for yourself to rest, because like I said before, we never had this chance because the world goes so like, we're all like go 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 go. So this is a good chance to do that. And if the whole world is doing it, I just can't see a positive outcome coming out from this if we actually do it. But if we want to keep going our way and be like, no, I'm not gonna do this because I can't, I'm third world or whatever, you're still going against the world. And I think what this is all about is to all come together as one world, as one species, that we are in danger, and just take care of each other by doing what we're like. I've never been one who obeys, to be honest. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not the type of people who like I just do what I've been told. I do what I believe in. But in this case, I really think if it's for the good of the collective, it's not worth it to go be ego about it and be like, well, I need money, so I'm gonna keep going out and work. You know, like. No, I think this is really time to come all together and act together as a world, and that's gonna bring a good outcome.
Yeah.
What do you think, Dave?
So my sister told me to look up this thing called shelter in place. And I'm trying to look it up now because apparently that's what California just ordered.
Oh.
And it means something very different than what we're used to.
What is it? Or what kind of, like, just a general idea?
Let's see.
What do you think, Tanner? What is it to do? Like,
I just Googled it. It says everyone's supposed to say, everyone's basically supposed to stay at their own place. It seems like...
yeah, what I'm saying pretty much, like, stay at home, take care of yourself, be your best self, like, take care of your own health and fitness. If everyone in the world does that, just imagine if literally everybody in the world does that. Imagine the change, like, it's going to be a weight, like, and in the struggle, even, like I say, like, in your hard times as a person, personally, not as a collective, just as a person. Every time you have your worst times, you come out your best out of that. You come stronger, you come wiser, you come, like, more clear, like, and now we're facing this as a world.
Everyone,
exactly. So if we really do that and, like, just try work, be on you, like on yourself, get in yourself, get introspective, look inside, see where you're going, what do you want out of this world, realize what is happening, think about creating value, and then if we all come out of that, it's going to be a great world. I see this as an opportunity. We can screw it up, or we can really get something really good of it, out of it.
If we can all, like, kind of collab together, and it is like everyone's taking a quick break, take a nap, come back in a few weeks.
But is it a few weeks? No one knows.
That's
when we're
the
coming
thing.
back.
We don't know.
So
that's the problem.
At that point, how do you,
that's the scary part.
Yeah, how do you not incite panic? You basically
just trust.
You basically have to give people money. That's the
thing. Is that going to happen? What do you think?
I think we have to roll out some giant, like, playgrounds or something, like arcades or something, where we win more money, and, like, we become obsessed with some form of, like, weird Dave and Buster's kind of thing where we make money by playing.
I think exchange is gonna come back, like, just exchange of services instead of, like, money. It might be something that. Right?
That's possible. You know what really freaked me out is how Cirque du Soleil literally laid off 95% of its workforce.
Today.
Yeah. It's almost like they know something that we don't know. Like, this is going to last longer than you expect, because why would you fire so many people?
95% of their employees is insane.
So I because when they first let us know, they were like, maybe a couple weeks, you know. But really what happened was Australia said it's not going to go back to normal for like 6 months.
Or 2 years. I've been hearing 2 years, honestly.
So I'm hearing these travel bans are long. And so maybe someone got an inside word and said, okay, these are going to last like 6 months. And so, yeah, that means that like
the online businesses are saving the world too. Like me, I have this little online business, and that's what's saving me, because there's no way I can make any money. I'm still making money, thanks God, that I had an online business that I opened 6 months ago, and it's saving my life right now.
Yeah.
Still creating value for people, you know, like still sharing, still doing. So I think it's the technological era. It's becoming real true. Like
that's the thing, is like I don't think, like, unless Circus is gonna do a movie, like I don't think that Cirque du Soleil they're running into that. They're running into that problem, or if they're not doing shows, they're not making money. You know, they don't.
Yeah.
Unless they're making movies or something like that, then how else are they gonna keep contributing value in a culture
Cirque
where
du
we
Soleil
can't
is
do live
done.
events?
What do you think, Tanner, about that?
I think it goes so much further than all of this, because when you sign crazy big contracts like they have with like all of the casinos and all the places they're going.
Yeah, millionaire contract.
So when you sign those kind of contracts, you are dealing with people that are like, I don't know, like you're buying into so much work. Like let's say you sign like a 10-year contract with MGM or something. There's only one way to get out of that, and that's like a global pandemic where it's like this, like you have to stop doing shows, because this happened to me one time.
It's the only way to get off, pretty much the same.
Yeah, we had a brush fire, and like I realized in the contract, under these circumstances, and you brush by those, you're like, there's no way this will ever happen. But when it does, that's when people like rethink. They're like, this is how I can get out of this crazy contract I have with this deal that's not a good deal, and I'm not making money on that.
That's the thing,
think about
like,
it. Yeah.
Is I told somebody,
That's
I was like, what's gonna happen after this? And I was like, I think that like maybe there's only gonna be like 2 Cirque shows left in Vegas when it's all said and done, and it's probably gonna be like O and MJ. And I said like probably O and MJ, and those are the 2 that I called.
Well, I don't know, because I've been having a lot of, like, since I work for the NBA and I have worked for Cirque du Soleil, and I see, like, the NBA is everywhere. Like, you hear about, the NBA crows, the NBA. Nobody's talking about Cirque du Soleil.
Yep.
Seriously, nobody's talking about it. And it's a huge corporation. It's one of the biggest ones in the whole world, and nobody's talking about it.
When you're talking about the whole service industry of the United States being shut down, I don't think people are going to be talking about one entertainment company.
No.
And that's the thing, is like the scope.
They're talking about the NBA. Sorry.
I know, but the scope is so much broader now. Like, yeah, we lost sports like 5 days ago. Like, I think like now it's like we just lost the service industry.
Yep.
And what are we going to lose next? Are we going to lose CVS's and Walgreens? Are we going to lose like what do we deem essential at this point?
What about schools? Like schools are being closed.
Schools are already shut down. So it's
which I don't even know. This again, this could be a good opportunity. The system is all fucked up. We all know that.
Yep.
Schools, the scholar system is fucked up too. So maybe this is really a chance to redo everything we have all wrong. Like the world right now is built on. Not on strong basis. It's built on like a lot of stupidity. Yeah. And I think this is a good chance to recreate. I don't know if that's gonna happen or if it's even possible.
Like, what expert is gonna lead us through this?
When we have Trump as a president of America, and we have that idiot. I don't even know his name. I do know his name. The Peje in Mexico. Like everybody's just government shit.
This is a big reality check for everyone who's sitting at home and not doing anything. Everyone who's working for the government or working for anything else. When something big like this happens, you're really nothing.
Yeah.
And like to make that kind of circus related, a lot of people, they go to school, they move to certain places just to get into Cirque du Soleil. And I've always thought of that as a crazy idea. I'm like, you want to go work for this big corporation who treats you like another number?
Yeah.
Like you could get hurt, you could sprain an ankle, and you replace the next day.
Next day, it happened to me.
And what did you gain from that experience? Nothing other than performing on this big crazy show with all these other people, and you get nothing in return from it.
Well, you get a little bit.
Yeah, I mean,
you do
get
because
access to the coolest toys.
You
Access
get
to
but
cool
not just that,
toys.
like the name that gives you to have been part of it. Like you get in, if you have Cirque du Soleil in your curriculum, it's a game changer. It is a game changer. I swear, like it is. Like just having that name in your
On your resume?
it's a game changer. I'm telling you, it is.
I think it just comes down to like if you have big set experience, it does matter. And where do you get big sets? You only get them at Cirque. Like you've only flown 80 feet, 90 feet in the air with Cirque.
That's true.
Which sucks, but why not? Why don't you make it happen out of Cirque du Soleil? Please do. Like, it's just Circus making everything happen, and because everybody's trusting just in they're the ones to do it, they're the ones to go, and then I give all my time, all my work, all my ideas, all my creativity to them. Then they use it, and then it's gone. Like, no, people, like start doing it by yourself. Stop putting out your ideas, create your things, and don't let this. Almost like Cirque du Soleil is almost a monopoly of circus, if you think about it, right? Like,
well, I mean, you have Dragon too. Like Dragon does some really cool stuff as well.
But this is the same. Like it's kind of like the same. Like Dragon, Cirque du Soleil is same. I mean, not, but yeah, you know what I mean.
I guarantee
they start
you,
together.
After this, it's gonna break up and it's gonna be more diverse and there's gonna be more places to go. And because of Cirque making this big move of just wiping out their inventory and starting all over again.
But do you think that Cirque, like,
let him finish.
I know, but do you think Cirque actually got out of all those casino deals like free and clean? Or
yes.
Yeah.
Yes? Why do you think so?
Because of the world. Trust me, I'm not gonna say I'm 100% correct, but I think because when you sign those big contracts with those big companies with a lot of money, they make you sign things that say like you're binding in this contract unless there's a world pandemic or like a major earthquake or something that makes forces everyone out of a job. So now all of a sudden, boom, they see an opening. They're like, oh, these shows aren't making that much money. We should probably get out of these. Or like these shows, they're just not profiting that much because
maybe they're just making the pandemic thing up. To be able to do these kind of things, not just Cirque du Soleil, but many other big companies and corporations.
If you've just been operating to cover your like operations costs, but you've been losing money in any way, this would be the smart way to get out of those deals. Yep. Because you're just cashing in on the insurance policy that says like, okay, I'm cashing in the earthquake policy.
That will be so fucked up, to be honest. Like, why that way? Like, for the backs of everyone else in the world. Like, why aren't you just honest? Why don't you just honest? If you have to close, just get it done. Like,
dude, I'm just saying that's how businesses work, and they see an opportunity like that. They're like, we can start over right now. We should do it. Yeah. And that's what they just did. They just canceled 90%.
It's a good thing for them, yeah.
95% of their employees are all without jobs now.
But how are they going to get all those tents back to Montreal? How are they going to get all their supplies, all their stages, all their winches, all their equipment is spread out around the world right now. And so it's like, how are they getting all of their inventory back that they had? Oh, yeah. You know, and it's like, and in those theaters as well, like a lot of that stuff is like permanently bolted in, like. And I know Cirque will just like cut their losses for the most part and just leave a bunch of trash everywhere.
But now it's not easier times.
But like when it comes to the tents, like you want those because those are your mobile units. Like so maybe you store those in those countries under lockdown in key. Like I don't know how you would do it, but somebody's got to know. Like somebody who's rigging the shows, like who has to tear it down, they got to know like some insider info of like what's actually going on.
As much as I like Cirque or not, the fact that Cirque will close is leaving. Just how many shows of Cirque there are open right now? 20 shows. How many artists and technicians and employees it has each show?
5,000 total.
It was 5,000.
Just
5,000
imagine
total.
how many people in the artistic industry is gonna be off work, and like seriously, there's no other company who can give back that. Like, we have to start getting creative, creating our own things, because like, yeah, like I say, as much as I like them or not, they were giving this, they were creating a lot of work for artists and technicians and just the artistic world, and without them there's so much people who's gonna stay like. And then what other places? There's not many places in the world who pays, like who can give you a quality of life, which is not great anyway, but a quality of life that Cirque du Soleil can give to an artist,
Yeah.
Because for artists, we all know we're not money makers, kind of. I mean, we try, right? But we don't make our money doing shows. Like if we make money, you're like you, Tanner, you're doing this other thing, but it's not really doing shows where you're making your real money, right?
Yeah.
But let's be honest here.
Yeah, but I think this is kind of like a nice like awakening call for everyone who's doing like shows or who's just focused on working for someone else. Like, you gotta have
working for
something-
someone else. Thank you.
You have to have
Dave, where are you? You
something-
need to listen to this.
Yeah, you have to have something going for yourself.
Absolutely.
I think Dave took a bathroom break.
He totally needs to hear this, Tanner. Please, because I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
People need, like I said before, create value.
Yep.
Create value.
If you have your own value, you hold so much power, because it just, like, if you don't need anyone else to make you money,
Then you
you're
don't
in
have to
ultimate
relate.
power.
Yeah.
Like, when everything goes down like this, you're still in control.
You're still in control. Yeah.
But if you rely on anyone else to make
You're fucked up,
your money, you're screwed, and you're basically relying on them. And if they decide, oh, my contract says this, like Cirque du Soleil says, guess what? Everyone's without a job, and they don't have to.
And they
pay
don't
any
even know what
money.
to do. They don't even. This is the saddest part. Like, you have these amazing, super talented artists out there, and they making no money, not knowing what to do, because they decided that Cirque du Soleil, is just one more work. Like, I was part of that people. When I started doing Circus, all I wanted to do is be part of Cirque du Soleil. That's all I wanted. Nothing else. I just wanted to be part of Cirque du Soleil because it was the biggest circus in the world, and it was like, it will prove somehow that I am that good. I'm good enough. I'm one of the best in the world, and it will prove that. So I really wanted to get there. But me as an artist, what I like, or why I'm an artist, is because I want to be free. I want to create my own thing. I want to explore and create my own art, express myself.
Yeah.
Once I got to Cirque du Soleil, that was over. That's it. It's over. They don't let you express yourself. They tell you what to wear, what music use, what movements. Like, you can do kind of like your movements, but still it has to be under this character they want. Like, you're not even an artist anymore. Then plus, when I was a freelance before I was doing Cirque du Soleil, I could choose whatever job I wanted to do, how much, if I wanted to make this money, if I didn't want to accept this work or not. Once with Cirque du Soleil, that's it. This is your fee, and you're like any other employee in the world. You follow a schedule. You will go like, and where's the artist that you are inside? Where are you expressing? Like, it was all over. It really killed, being part of Cirque du Soleil killed my artistry.
Yeah.
I was like,
Well, you're their artistry at that point.
Yeah, exactly. You're just an employee like anyone else. And that wasn't the point. I want to create and express myself. I don't want to be an employee. So he's back. Tell him. Tell him, Tanner. Tell him.
We were just talking about how I just don't think that working at Cirque du Soleil is like the greatest thing. And just working for yourself and like creating your own opportunities, creating all of this stuff on your own, in the end is more of value, because if someone else decides you don't need a job anymore, and they're like, oh, look at this opportunity I have to get out of paying all these people's insurances, like Cirque is paying close to 5,000 people all of their insurance and all that stuff. Think about how much money in total that, like, I'll give you an example. To insure one performer to not hurt someone in the audience, that's around like a $2 million policy. Think about how many millions of dollars they had bind up because of all those performers. that's like just so much going on, you know. And if they can wipe shop and start off with the same name, because in the end, in business, all you're trying to do is create a name for your business,
your brand. You
have all that, then you can wipe your inventory and start all over and do it much cleaner in the process. You're going to be overall just more like your return on investment is going to be better. And the same thing happened when I was working for Razor back in the day. They made all this money. They were like creating all like, they were just taking up all this room on like Toys R Us and Walmart and all their shelves and stuff. They had all this noise going on, but it wasn't the cleanest noise, you know? They kind of want to like restart and just make it like a cleaner process, less stuff going on and just like more money coming in. In the end, it's a lot easier to, you know, manage.
Yeah, absolutely. Just saying, like, it's so much better to work on your own, create your own thing, create your own value, value for other people. That's what's gonna really bring you up on. Fuck Circus. Sorry, I say that. Oh, I'm sorry. Love them, but no.
Yeah, I don't know. I've just never thought of them as like the end goal. I think doing your own thing is the end goal, because then you have like you don't realize how like creative you can be until you're putting together your own shows, and then you realize this is your type of music, this is your type of act, this is your type of
expression.
Like, everything is you.
Yeah.
And I look at that, I'm like, when I see my own shows, I'm like, this is so me right here. Why am I doing this right here? Like, that's typical me.
Yeah.
And you see the same thing when you look at other directors and the way they're creating their shows, and you're like, oh, this is so them. Like,
so
this
them,
is their style of music, and this is
same. Yeah.
That's the end goal, I think, is doing your own act and your own show. And like, the more like people who are independent from like other shows, that's like better. That's more expression of art.
Absolutely.
Rather than
just the same. Yeah, like.
It happens for every like business and everything. There's like a big monopoly. It breaks up, trickles down, and there's more of an industry after that.
Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. You look at Burning Man, and it's approaching that point of it becoming so corporate that it, you know, explodes and then becomes a smaller thing.
That's And
you know, you look at some of the regional burns, and they're bigger than Burning Man, and they have more art, but you know, you still look to these big events, you still look to these big corporations of like, you know, kind of how to do it. You know?
Yeah, well, you cannot deny that these big corporations help somehow. Like I'm saying, Cirque du Soleil, they still giving so much job to so much people. Like, what is all these people gonna do without Cirque du Soleil now? Like, what's gonna happen with the art? Like, you know what I mean?
Well,
it's crazy because it's so much bigger than that. It's like, what is the world gonna do? Like, literally, we are at like what 50 to 80% unemployment right now.
Oh well.
Yeah.
And they're talking about 20%, like it's gonna recover. But like, let's talk about where we are right now. We're at like, you know, the whole world is unemployed.
I know, like Dave and I were talking about, let's just run to Mexico. Let's go fucking out. We literally were talking about this last night when we saw like the numbers, how crazy is going this coronavirus here in America, and in Mexico there's none, and we're like, let's just run to Mexico. We were literally about to pack everything and run to Mexico. And then this morning I talked to my parents, I talked to my daughter. Imagine my daughter is 17 years old. She's almost an adult. And they're like, stop, like, brakes right now. Like,
pump the brakes.
Yeah, pump the brake. Everybody told me, chill, like, pump the brakes. I know here's not that bad yet there, like, but we might get there. And we don't have, like, how to stop. Like, we don't have the possibilities that you guys have in America to get, like, to go along with it. So, like, just even my daughter, like, we haven't seen each other in 2 years, and now I finally got my residence. I can travel, see her, and she's like, Mom, like, think about it 3 times before, like, really, what are you gonna do? Because if you just quit and come here, we don't really have, like, you may have a worse time here, like, take it easy. So we're like, okay, let's think it twice. Like, I think everybody advised us not to go. To wait here, even though things are better there yet. we don't know where it's going. So.
Yeah. But you just became a U.S. citizen recently, right?
Yes,
Resident.
like 2
Yeah.
weeks. Resident.
Yeah.
Like 2 weeks
But you
ago.
could stay.
Yeah.
Like,
I can come and go now for 2 years as much as I want. Like I'm almost like a citizen. I cannot vote, right? I don't think I have the right of voting.
Yeah, maybe not. There's certain rights
Which
you
I
don't
don't
have.
care, because if you're gonna give me Trump and fucking Biden as
Yeah.
an option, fuck off.
your first U.S. election that you can vote for.
This
Vote
is
for
re-
guy with dementia or Twitter troll.
Or yeah, I'm
Here's your
misogynist.
options.
I'm misogynist. This is ridiculous.
Cheeto,
So yeah,
Cheeto man.
I don't mind. Yeah, I just become a resident. Which is another thing. I was very excited. I was like, one step closer to my freedom, and then I find in a situation when we are the whole world
It's on
in the
lockdown.
same both, and I love it. I mean, it sucks, but I love it, because I was like, that's it. I'm like, I felt like when I got my green card, I felt like I was in a different level, you know, like I got it different because the opportunities are just much bigger, and it's just much easier. Since I've been living in the United States, my life is so much easier here than it was in Mexico. So much chill, like, so I was like, that's it, I made it, that's it. And then
Yeah.
2 weeks later, coronavirus, and the whole world is in the same situation. We're all, you know, and it's like the green card means nothing right now
And
to
it's
me.
crazy because like you look
And
at,
I can't even go see my kids.
you look at Europe and they're in a worse situation. They're under like a way more stricter lockdown, and you think that that's coming for us. And you look at like how it's just changing from state to state,
Yeah.
and you're like, what is coming? Like, what is coming?
What is coming?
Talking about curfews, I'm thinking curfew comes next.
Ooh.
I'm so sorry. What's curfew? I'm sorry.
Curfew is when they tell you like you have to be inside your house, like from 10 o'clock to.
Oh, I
like,
see. Yeah.
And so like no one's allowed on the streets.
de
and
queda,
and if
toque
they
de queda.
see you out on the streets, like past curfew, then they have
Yeah.
every right to
Yeah, yeah.
detain you,
Oh yeah.
because it's like
Ooh.
they told you.
I think we're getting close to that. It feels like
It
it.
kind of already is that way in most states.
yeah.
Like you can be outside, but you kind of can't.
Well, you
Like,
have to be getting essentials, and you have to be like sticking to that story. You can't be like, I'm going to Bob's house to do podcast.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
to a
you can't go-
dispensary to get weak, since now
Yeah.
is essential.
You can't go just buy. I'm just going to buy some beer at 3:30 in the morning. Like most places, you can't buy alcohol after 2.
But in
Yeah.
Vegas, you can. So it's like I do want to be buying beer at 3:30 in the morning as my last civil right that is allowed. Like,
Yeah. Enjoy it while it lasts.
dude,
It's not
I'm
gonna
trying
last
to
that long.
enjoy every last civil right. I'm like, we won't be able to go outside tomorrow. Like, we won't be able to.
Oh my god. Is
Yeah.
it crazy?
So I think we did 75 minutes. Pretty good.
Yeah. You want to wrap it up right here?
I don't mind. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right.
It was very fun.
Let's
was
wrap
very
it
fun,
up
though.
right here. Itzel, what's your Instagram and where do we find you?
My Instagram. Don't laugh about me. This is just marketing, please. It's just marketing.
No worries.
So my name, Itzel Salvatierra, which is already hard. Itzel Salvatierra _ air goddess. So you just type air goddess, and I'm sure I'm gonna be the first one showing up.
Yeah, just type in air goddess.
Air goddess. Here I am.
There's only one.
There's only one.
And Dave Locke, you're at Locke, DALOCKE. Pretty much everything.
That's the one.
That's the one, my
Sweet.
babe.
Thank you guys for watching. Have a good night. Stay safe. Peace.
Thank you, Tanner. This was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, stay
Podcast.
safe, everybody. Like, take time to reflection and introspect. Thank you. That was awesome. Super fun.